The collapse of the Soviet Union in 1991 marked one of the most profound geopolitical shifts in modern history. At the center of this transformation was Mikhail Gorbachev, the eighth and final leader of the USSR. His ambitious reform programs, glasnost, openness, and perestroika, restructuring, were initially intended to modernize the Soviet system, not dismantle it. By the time Gorbachev rose to power in 1985, the Soviet Union was deeply troubled. The country was suffering from economic stagnation, a burdensome military-industrial complex, and an inflexible bureaucratic system. The Brezhnev era, 1964 to 1982, had been characterized by conservatism, corruption, and little innovation. His successors, Yuri Andropov and Konstantin Chernenko, had brief and ineffective tenures. The USSR was falling behind the West in technology and economic dynamism. Born in 1931 in Stavropol, Mikhail Gorbachev was part of a younger generation of Soviet officials who believed reform was essential. After becoming General Secretary of the Communist Party in March 1985, he quickly set himself apart from his predecessors. Gorbachev was charismatic, articulate, and outward-looking. He recognized that without fundamental changes, the Soviet Union could not survive. The unintended consequence was a crisis of legitimacy. Citizens began to question the entire Soviet system. Nationalist movements gained momentum in non-Russian republics, historical grievances resurfaced, and the ideological foundations of communism were called into question. Glasnost made it possible for people to see the cracks in the Soviet system, and talk about them. Gorbachev's non-interventionist stance won him praise in the West but deepened divisions at home. Hardliners in the Communist Party saw this as weakness and betrayal, while reformers wanted faster changes. Gorbachev was increasingly isolated in the middle. Gorbachev responded inconsistently. Sometimes he used force, for example, in Vilnius, Lithuania, in 1991, but more often, he negotiated. Ultimately, his inability to either suppress or satisfy the republics led to fragmentation of the Soviet Union. Gorbachev struggled to keep the Union together. A new political figure emerged, Boris Yeltsin, a former communist who reinvented himself as a populist reformer. In 1991, Yeltsin became president of the Russian Soviet Federative Socialist Republic, the largest and most powerful Soviet republic. On August 19, 1991, Gorbachev was placed under house arrest while vacationing in Crimea. A group of conservative officials declared a state of emergency in Moscow. Mikhail Gorbachev did not intend to destroy the Soviet Union. His goal was to reform it, modernize the economy, open the political system, and reduce tensions with the West. But the reforms he introduced created new expectations and demands that the rigid structure of Soviet socialism could not accommodate.